But as we're getting the comps here, no, we are not getting the chamber. We're getting the classic KJ. They're running double duelists, and that works too. The Phoenix Jet is just super meta here.
Well, Dan, I'm sorry, there is no Reyna there, and I apologize. I asked, they said no, but we are running that double duelist as Wyatt said. Almost identical comps, but not really, actually, when I'm looking at it more closely.
I was wondering how Catface were going to be leaning towards here as well with the double duelists that felt like gave them a lot more success. And again, seeing the Phoenix a lot in this map that also just works out with that playstyle that they've shown us. But for the other side, for Zen Otters, you know, it's okay. I was honestly expecting, like what I was saying, because of the maps that are going to be played, a lot of the chamber. But Invert is so incredible. Again, the top fragger, that one game that they got the chance to play with Zen Otters in that Swiss stage. And on the Phoenix, if you want to set up somebody to just run it down and get the kills, it feels like it's perfect.
Oh, folks, it is a zoo, as we are calling it, but only one team can be on top of the Animal Kingdom. Listen over to your casters. I hold Shift and Athena.
Yeah, we hate to rain on your parade. Haha, no Reyna in this double duelist.
Oh,
Athena,
no.
I know, you asked for bad wordplay segues. I'm going to go ahead and tally that one out of one right now. How are we feeling about this one, girl?
I mean, after that pun, I'm really excited to get into the game because I don't want to hear you making any more of those. But I'm really excited about this game. This matchup is going to be so fun. And I think with these rosters, as well as this agent select, it's going to be really explosive to watch, Shift.
Yeah, it really will be. I mean, it's crazy to think, coming off of our first match from today, that we're dealing with these four teams in the lower round one elimination series just to get us kicked off so quickly. But for the Zen Otters, it's about trying to get themselves kicked off in the correct foot here because, yeah, I think, Wyatt brings up a really good point that for Catface, they've played this map quite a bit, and they are coming off some very successful results here. So confidence has to be flowing, whereas I think, talking kind of the counterpoint of that is for Zen Otters, their pistols have been pretty solid so far through Game Changers, and if you can come out and really kick this thing off with a good defensive win, you're already putting the pressure on MEOW.
Yeah, and I think with that momentum coming in from the last time they've played each other too, where we've seen Zen Otters kind of come out on top, it's going to be really interesting to see how much change Catface has kind of added into their roster to make sure that they're countering a lot of this. And as I say, explosive Shift, we're starting with a pretty quick pistol for a lot of that aiming control from Catface. They're going to get a little bit of that info, and the Prowler's going to go in for 8.
Yeah, voluntarily given away here, though, by Zen Otters. Largely, it's just going to be Madison playing with the backside over at Dugout and has stayed relatively safely tucked here to this point. Now pressure is starting to amount, a little bit of chip damage, but nothing significant as Luna's able to find the first blood. Spike behind that going to be planted, and it looks like for SOTR, they're just going to try to get their way in by brute force through art.
Yeah, pushing through. This is a really good post plant because they want to take all that space that's been given to them. Kestrel's about to catch off a player here. Luna Fox with that pick on Avery.
Oh, man. What a wrap. That is just absolute poetry right there from Catface, kind of negating the fact that Otter is going to come back over through mid. You take away Flower, you take away Seeker, and all of a sudden, the rest of the Zen Otters hanging over towards the connector are just stun-locked by what's happening in front of them on the site.
Yeah, I think Catface yesterday, when I did watch them play, it's kind of interesting to see how good they are and how it took them just that one map to kind of warm up, which unfortunately for them, falling on that split game, they made it so close. They came back and they kept kind of playing into the server, and I think now we're going to see kind of that expertise come out, that pistol looking really nice. But of course, this is now their buy round. They have these really good weapons versus the pistols on the side of Zen Otters.
Yeah, and why not just run this straight down B long? Trying to establish some aggression, but Zen Otters are just going to heavy rotate early. They've made this call correctly, but the noise is killed. Doubt now starting to settle in. Just a little bit of tertiary information gathering tools. Now the full burst. Again, the Zen Otters, they are all here. They've got utility of their own, and they're able to hit the shots with the Sheriff. It's 3 down in the feed. Spike is also dropped just outside the site. Elaborate trying to work to collect it, and that Astra Star will at least allow a chance for MEOW to respond.
Yeah, that was a really good stack. They heard that information. They immediately rotated. And for Otters, this is looking really good for them. 2v5. MEOW's going to have to try to get some sort of pick here.
Or shots going to land here for Elaborate. Switching between weapons. No secondary challenge yet for SOTR until eventually Oasis takes away the angle. Now up top. Yeah, good counter peek coming through. And what about that? Opening thrifty. SOTR respond to the opening pistol loss.
Oh my gosh, you know we always talk about game changer sheriffs, and this is the reason why. They're just so good with it. Oasis and Verizon getting those picks in order to pull the game back into their favor, and just like that, it's equalized. I didn't think we were going to see this so early on in the game where the rounds are going to be back and forth, but it's happening already. That being said, we're going to be looking towards MEOW being on that thrifty now. They have just those sheriffs, 3 of them on the side of them. They're going to look to maybe get some of those orbs, maybe try to get some ults online so that they can set themselves up for success for that next round when it comes to their buy. It looks like they're actually going to opt for a lot of this mid control, trying to get those picks in. Try to get a little early frag from Kestrel.
Yeah, try to get something, maybe even take away a weapon if there's someone standing a little bit too far forward, but Invert will kick things off with first blood. That shuts down one play over through mid, but the rest of MEOW are still thinking about what they want to do here. Long lurk on the way through B long, but honestly speaking, that is just a classic for Elaborate, so I really don't anticipate much damage coming through. Luna trying to create something out of nothing. That won't work. And it's just going to be down to the last 3 members of MEOW. Pretty much separated right now, except for Kestrel trying to work with Blue Owl through the middle of the map. But yeah, SOTR are not going to make any mistakes here. They're not going to overpeak, and they will find an easy punish.
Yeah, the discipline is really nice. Chasing for this kill right at the end. The second that I say that, it's still worth because they know that there's that spike over there. But of course, Elaborate made their way all the way through B. Badison knows they heard that alarm bot go off, gets that pick onto Elaborate, and Oasis getting this final pick onto Blue Owl. I think this just makes a lot of sense. But the discipline from SOTR that round is so nice to watch. Just holding, playing off of that trap util, playing off of the Astra suck to make sure that they're not overextending and peeking into that mid.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I just kind of want to point out, even going back to the anti-eco round that MEOW drop, I think they're going to learn their lesson there in terms of, okay, we're going into a thrifty or fighting up against our opponents who have a thrifty. Often we see teams either hard stack or over rotate, and MEOW just kind of get caught in no man's land, not really deciding on the burst, nor necessarily double backing. Whereas SOTR just show their discipline, hold their lanes, and the same thing comes true there in round number 3. So now we get into what will be more of the full purchase round here. Still a bit of a bonus though for SOTR coming off the flawless. And it'll be just a couple of orb collection positioning spots here for MEOW to work off the get-go. Minute 20 on the clock.
Yeah, SOTR is actually putting down those deep Astra Stars to try to fake any A main control. But actually, Catface did not get worried about it. They just pushed through that A, got that orb. And I think now they're getting a really good idea of how SOTR are playing, not aggressing mains, but they're taking this mid space because it's worked for them a little bit before just to get some of those picks. And it's looking like they're going to walk into this trap.
Yeah, this is a bit of a split high-low setup, but all it takes is an opening peek from Kestrel, dashes out of the way. That's good information gathering. Now 50 seconds on the clock. That's going to have MEOW forcing their way over towards the left side at B. Mid doors currently halfway being watched by Invert. Most notably, though, on the cross, it's going to be Badison. Oasis going to be kept interested at A. That actually moves the defense around quite a bit because that's the Phoenix that shows themselves. So now all of a sudden, you turn your attention to Badison, who's going to have to stand tall and use this back Hall's position as their Alamo. Hit is on the way. Badison has stayed safe for now. Here's the jump, finds the first, many more. Yes, how about 2? Third in the way. Able to get the third, but Blue Owl able to respond now 2v3. Problem is, Diffuse is on the way. You've got to come back to help out. Vacuum will expire. Badison able to get their 4th, looking for the full ace. 1v2 situation, but Blue Owl able to clean things up and take 4 of their own and save the round for Catface. Holy smokes.
Oh my god, Blue Owl was doing this all day yesterday, constantly clutching every single time. I really need to see the clutch percentage on this player because it has to be 100% at this point. They're so good. She's constantly getting those 1v1s and positioning themselves in such a good position to take those fights. That was almost an insanely well played round by Badison, clutching it out, anchoring with the rotates, the pulling from Catface, and the IGLing that round really messed with the way that Otters was playing. And this fast A main control is going to come in again. They've been getting it for free almost every single round, so why not? But it's going to be a super fast A hit.
Ball behind the Cosmic Divide. Kestrel trying to be the first one in, shut down, but the trade is there. 4v4 on top of the site. Avery able to get one, stay alive, looking for more, lots of damage, but not a secondary kill. Now it's just down to are MEOW going to commit for this plant, and they will. Problem is, there's a lockdown immediately involved. Run it back also going to be called here for SOTR, trying to clear as much space as humanly possible. Baddison once again to be called upon. Damage starting to come through. Invert in some trouble. Able to find some information though. Baddison's still pushing out, but the lockdown gets destroyed. And Catface are able to hold. Now all of a sudden you go into the garden. And with time ticking, this last 2v2 has to start to turn up for SOTR. There's the smoke. Oasis going to try to hold. Weapons recollected. Hard to say what's going on right now outside of what we're seeing on screen. Invert over the top with a nice curveball. Does he get the second? Oasis with the elimination. Time? Ooh, it's gonna be tight. I don't know.
I think they got it. They got it. Oh my god. That was insane. That was such a back and forth round when you were casting it. I had no idea what was going on. I was still like locked in trying to figure it out. But that was wild. The full fast exec with that Astro ult and the Nightfall, it looked really good. Avery being able to anchor for that one pick, but then dying almost instantly. And then Baddison putting down that ult, but none of SOTR's were around to kind of help defend it. But instead, they sped up on that retake from the other side, pushed through spawn, and made sure they could at least get the trades on that setup. It was really nice to watch, and the little micro adjustments that this team is making, specifically on their retakes, really goes to show why this team is so good and why last time that they played Catface, it was such a blowout.
Well, right now it is about as tight as it could possibly get through 5. Full weapon purchase involved here for SOTR, including an Odin and an operator. Pending Barracks is not giving us the clown face right now.
Yeah, I think this is kind of the only thing that MEOW kind of has going for them is these contact plays. They could get these orbs. They've taken A main a lot. They know that they could split, but they know that SOTRs are so good with that discipline, especially on their thrifties, not overextending, setting up some sort of trap plays. But they got so much space for free, and they're looking to do this split towards A. We get delayed a little bit. Looks like they're not going to back down, though.
No, actually can commit through that. Already diving on in. Luna also taking a lot of damage. You're able to follow up, find elimination. Now looking for Kestrel, who connects. Invert trying to stop the reinforcements and is successful in their feet. Kestrel still alive and kicking, though. Good help from Blue Owl. And all of a sudden, you're looking at a 2v2. The last couple of defenders trying to work their way back in. One important one is Oasis, who does have the knife. Potentially pull. Baddison, first one in. Able to find the elimination, leaving Blue Owl by themselves. But again, are they just the absolute clutch master? 1v1. Oasis, I don't believe, has pulled the knives yet. Doesn't need to. Oasis able to find the blind shot from the side. Blue Owl will drop in. SOTR get to 4.
Kind of an insane round. Really close again, even though that was a thrifty. These rounds are just so tight. It's so hard to kind of predict what's happening. But I think that was really good. The economy is going to be a little bit shattered for SOTR. They do get to keep that operator online, which is huge because they can hold down a line by themselves, especially on a map like Pearl where you can get that long B. It's really nice. But I'm looking for Catface now to be able to do these things on their gun rounds, being able to just stay together, bait a lot of that util because they know that SOTRs like to have that trap plays, and then being able to just group almost instantly. They have these really good reads. Their IGLing has been really good. It's just a matter of being able to execute them on rounds like these.
Yeah. We have, an opening pick here. Oasis getting aggressive through mid-map. Help from Invert finds a second. Curveball just to confirm that the space is at least relatively cleared, and Avery may get some extra information here on a Kestrel, but backs up maybe just before the barrel would have shown. But regardless of that, SOTR's a flawless opener here on round 7.
Yeah, the aggression definitely caught Catface off guard. Luna trying to get a pick onto that A site, try to equalize some sort of number, but falls to May. And I think, again, the grouping towards this A main is the only kind of sense of safety they have because they've gotten A main for free almost every single round now, but looking to walk into sight, but May is here holding this down shift.
Should have the angle and is perfect on the approach. Kestrel now last one left, able to find the first clean. Looking for May, damages out, but just completely crossed up. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. SOTR's a very clean gun round there against MEOW, has them up 5-2 and has Catface again looking at some dire purchase precisions.
Yeah, that was a really nice change up in tempo from SOTR's. They knew that maybe that A main was going to keep kind of giving that space towards MEOW, and they knew that maybe MEOW was going to keep taking that. So they ended up fighting towards mid, and that was a really nice play. The aggression, especially to equalize because their guns weren't that good. And now forcing MEOW back onto this eco. They haven't had a chance to use either of these ults, but maybe now the jet knives come online. And as I say that, they do, trying to get some sort of space, take this A main fast
like
because
this.
they know they have that. It's going to be really nice.
Yeah, you've got the Blade Storm, but you also have the hot hands and the run it back ready to go. So you've got a lot of opportunity to clear this space out. Kestrel already jumping on into the mix, able to find one onto Avery. Follow starting to come through, but May, just inside the Nebula's able to find two. That is an important double. Gets us to a 3v3. Oasis with knives of their own. Dashes away, not able to find anything. Invert just holding their lives. As now the post plant is set up. Oasis the first one in quickly, and whoa, we thought initially that the shots were going to be way too wide, but RAR will lose their head. Now it's going to be all of a sudden Invert on a run it back. Elaborate able to stop the first instance of the Phoenix. But to a 2v2, it's knives in op against just Stinger and Sheriff. Invert down to 6 health. Blue Owl can pick their poison on what they want to use, and all it needs is the pistol shot. A Thrifty comes through, and MEOW are back within 2.
This is exactly what I was asking for. Just a full send group take into sight. And that was so nice because they've gone A main again every single round for free. They don't have any challenge there, so they don't need to use any util, and they used it all to get onto site. It was really nice. Obviously, Otters, they reused some of their ults. They used that Phoenix ult and the Jet ult to kind of get back into that site and get that retake going, but it just didn't work out for them. And now I'm looking at MEOW to keep up this pace of staying grouped, making sure that they're, if they are trying to split towards mid, just holding a little bit, but being able to bait the util, get those trap plays out, and just group instantly. And I think it just works out for them. Their firepower is so good. It's really nice to see.
How about RAR's already just 2 away from another run it back, which they used last round. So lots of opportunity to keep the tempo up here if you are Catface. Moment of pause, though, just kind of playing for the orbs, and this kind of just has Senators playing in their playbook. This is exactly what they rolled out of spawn with, so they're comfy.
They are, and Elaborate with this operator is going to try to get any of these picks. Going towards that door, the flash unfortunately bounces back into everyone's eyes, but it's fine because Elaborate's still holding this door, tries to get a peek. No one's overextending, though. Again, Otters, really good discipline, getting that information mid-round and being able to play off of it.
I think maybe more importantly right there, Athena, like look at the counter ults that are available here for Sun Otters. They can stall for forever with the Nightfall and the Cosmic Divide. So the fact that they've denied so much early space kind of upgrades the potency of those ults, but a blind Nightfall gets cut through over to Art. No one's home. The Cosmic Divide for the attack will allow entryway onto site where honestly, you really can't do much here if you're able besides wait for help.
Yeah, I mean, the main reason why Sun Otters have been so good at being able to retake was because May has been so good at delaying for so long on site. But again, they could not delay at all, couldn't get a pick, and now this retake is going to happen really quick.
Well, the firewall is about to fade. First shot goes wide for Elaborate. Sun Otters have gotten back on the side. Second opportunity, great for Elaborate, but Invert still holding the line. Pinstripe kill feed back and forth we go, but it's a 3v2. Numbers for the post plant. Time is ticking on the defense, and the late peek from Luna Fox will likely be all that is needed to clutch this one up. Madison hit by the Nova Pulse. No time anymore for this 1v3 to come through, and that is a beautiful round for MEOW. And I don't know, if you kind of want to get your take, is that Nightfall a little premature, or do you kind of applaud the effort from Otters trying to stall out a little bit preemptively?
I think it's a tale of two halves, where it's kind of like the Nightfall would have been good if May was able to stay on site and stay alive for long enough, because if they were hit by that, the Prowler would have gone in, the delay would have gone in, they wouldn't have been able to hear May anchoring on site. But I think because May did over peak there, get that picked off right away, it's really hard to play around something like that. When you use that Nightfall instantly, it loses its value if you're not able to just stay on site, be annoying, delay for as long as possible, because the other team's going to be consistently worried about the player towards Art, that player towards Link, and are they going to be able to come out? So I think it was okay. I think it was valid. I just think maybe May overextending, or maybe the miscom maybe between Avery and May was there. But yeah, I think for me, what I'm really looking at for Sen Otters is at least changing it up a little bit. They did a really good play that a few rounds ago where they did take towards that mid. They were really aggressive, taking their fights and their peaks with Phoenix through that mid doors into mid window as well as market.
Yeah.
And I think they need to play into that a little bit more. Maybe take a little bit more aggression towards that A main because they've given it up almost every single round. So I'm kind of looking at them for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. And I think that's an important timing on that timeout as well. It's like, we're not losing the farm here if you're Sen Otters, but that is 2 gun rounds that have gone against you out of the 4 so far that have been, I think, total played. So you're not loving that statistic if you're Sen Otters. I think a lot of that is just off of some ultimates that have come through and not quite connected or given you the power boost that you're hoping for. And that is something to consider, especially now it's going into another financial choice of what do we want to do. And Battison will take the solo hero rifle. Sheriffs across the board everywhere else, and it's just a utility dump onto A with some decent scaling here for MEOW on their post plant.
Yeah, they're going to have a really nice post plant. They're going to be aggressive. They've done this before, especially on a round like their pistol, getting all that information, but they're also not overextending because they do know this is a thrifty. I think it's going to be pretty hard for Sen Otters to be able to retake this cleanly without kind of fighting for a lot of this, but Battison is alone with this 3 aggression, and Raven's actually going to get that first pick.
Yeah, just before all the timing of the defensive retake utility was going to happen over towards A connector. Pardon me, Elaborate disabled. Okay, somehow through smoke, no scope connects, and that's actually maybe crucially important because look at the kill feed. Sen Otters found a ton on that secondary hit. Problem is, now it's just down to Avery. Has to at least get this to halfway. Castro will have the read on it. Not going to have enough opportunity to do much besides maybe force a couple of repurchases off the spike detonation, and that is exactly what happens as we get to a 5-5 tie.
Yeah, now that this is all tied up, we're going to be seeing gun rounds from both these teams. We're going to have Avery on the Odin, which is going to be fun. A nice little spam moment through art, through mid is going to be really nice. But also, when you look at these ults, you have Lunafox with that Nightfall, and you also have Elaborate with that Steel Garden. It's going to be these really 2 nice ults to be able to take into sight. But the question is, they've been abusing this A main, and now Sen Otters has finally adapted. They have 3 players here. Are they going to be able to hold it down?
It looks like it's going to be a battle for this forward position, but Kestrel's able to find the opener onto Oasis, and now all of a sudden Sen Otters are a little bit stuck. Avery's trying to hold on the trigger with the Odin. Finds some damage, but not enough to dissuade Catface from still pushing through. And you also get a little bit of a feel out there for that position at mid. So 5v4 is where we'll go, minute 15 on the clock.
Just holding, grabbing more orbs. Raven 3 away from the run it back. They're just going to be able to kind of slowly group, hold for any information, because the second that anyone is down numbers, they tend to re-aggress, especially when you're a team like Sen Otters. But they're actually just playing it really slow. 2 players on this A site holding it back. Looks like they're just ready for a retake wherever it is and hoping to fast rotate.
Yeah, you kind of have to if you're Sen Otters, though. I mean, this might be your only purchase of the half if you lose this round, and you're fighting up against a Steel Garden, so you don't want to get affected by that. Key timing here. Battison able to find Lunafox, unaware of the defender still pulling over through mid. So now you've just got to crash in through the front. Nightfall, not a part of this.
30 seconds left.
It's going to be initially invert trying to set things up. Avery guarding with the Odin. And honestly, this is kind of stalled out all of a sudden for Catface. Battison a second opportunity and takes good use of it as invert and Avery follow up behind. Just down to Kestrel. 1v2. 15 on the clock. No spike. Has to play for the Elims. Once again confirms that Avery's right around the corner. Oh, he's going to catch her out with utility. But now it's just, you just got to run away here if you're invert. Do they know that Kestrel doesn't have the spike, doesn't make a difference? You hear the dash, you hold the line, and Otters will get to 6.
That was kind of a crazy round. The stall was so good, but Catface, they were up in a 5v4, and sending a player alone to lurk was kind of questionable for me. I don't think that was the play. I think grouping up and making sure you have all that information and having that numbers on an execute is way more important, especially when it's your fade that's going out as the numbers. You need that info. You need that prowler. You need that eye to be able to make sure that they're not stacked onto a site. And now they've kind of punished themselves. Luna with a low buy, but they still have 3 of these ults and a really fast A main control from both teams.
And this is exactly what you were calling for earlier, Athena. It's going to be evenly exchanged, though. MEOW have an advantage now with the Nightfall coming through. Is there a follow-up onto this tendril information that you're able to get. Oh, it looks like there is a tech for it, and we're going to end things in a 2v2 after everything is all said and done. Minute 15 to play with. Madison does have the lockdown, and Avery's close to a nightfall of their own. Advantage to Sen Otters.
Equalizing numbers there is kind of insane. So much util use, but Madison is already on this flank. But I think Catface, they have an idea. They're just holding, waiting for any overextension. It's not going to come out yet. They're sticking together, which I think is the right play. 3 stars on Blue Owl. This is definitely doable for Catface, but Avery just has to delay for long enough or be able to at least make enough noise for Madison to get that flank in.
It's a flanking lurk. It's a flirt.
Yeah, it's a flanking lurk. You got me.
I love it. Well, moment of second guessing here is Avery's going to back off the site completely. It's going to have to be a lockdown retake. The problem is you don't really know where this post plan is, and Luna has taken some critical space away. Problem, Blue Owl, just walks backwards right into the waiting arms of Madison. But can the mystery of Luna Fox's position work out? There's the first. Madison going quickly. Pardon me? With the footsteps, it's just an easy here, and all of a sudden, it's a Red Bull clutch from Luna Fox in a 1v2, and it's a 6-6 tie as we swap the sides.
This just shows how close this game is. 6-6. It's back to back, and there's also been 2 thrifties, 3 thrifties that have happened. Both these teams on equal footing. Getting that A-main control was so important for both sides, and actually that clutch right at the end was insane. MEOW, Catface, they've been doing such a good job with these clutches. I just would love to see them clean up a little bit, but doesn't matter because now we've switched sides. We're seeing MEOW, Catface, on that defensive side and Sen Otters on attack, and it's looking like a little bit of a different default. Looks like we're starting towards this mid, trying to get that mid control, and Madison is actually going to be the player towards that A main.
And I'll be interested to kind of know, especially considering that we're looking at the same double duelist on either side here, you know, will MEOW be a little bit more persistent about fighting for a main and not allowing those orbs to go out for free? Again, that was kind of a counterpoint that Sen Otters were really not able to execute on, but I don't know if there's really a choice to execute on that. Razorvine's out. May taking a lot of damage. Follow-up Nova Pulse is good, and MEOW are going to go aggressively trying to retake or at least contest this site, but May has stayed alive throughout the Nebula. Problem is a late flash comes through, allowed into first kills start to get tallied. 4v4 until Luna gets involved. The defense still holding very nicely around this, and Otters trying to crunch their way in, but wait a second. Everyone's getting a little bit lost here by the Nebula that's just hanging over the top of the site. But Raven able to find the first. Avery is low. Even battle here for the 1v1, and it's Avery who finds the shot first, and Otters will take the second half pistol.
I was about to compliment Catface on how fast they were able to get back into sight and rotate. The spike didn't even go down yet, and there was 5 players towards this spawn. Raven doing such a good job delaying on sight, but Avery with this 3K is definitely the winner of this round. The reason why that round even went to Sen Otters, being able to just creep around that sight smoke, the anchor smoke, it was a really, really very well thought out play too. Walking, making sure they're not putting spike down, not playing way too quick, and just slowing it down, getting their peaks, knowing that someone's probably not going to be looking at them and getting that pick. It was really nice. And now the shift over, we're going to see them playing with these guns. They're playing a lot slower than we saw previously because they know that thrifties are where both of these teams thrive. Problem
is, as the defense loses the opening pistol, the ability to afford into Sheriffs is a little bit more mixy in terms of making that choice. It will be full classics for MEOW. Sen Otters are eventually going to group up after the first 30 seconds or so expire. It looks like they're going to fight over A, which, wouldn't you know it, is the site that is being currently stacked by Catface.
Yeah, this is scary. 4 players here. They're ready to fight. Luna's the only player that's not here, but still within that rotate range. They're just going to contact in, try to get a little bit of a peek, and once they make that information play, they're going to go for it. But can they fight this?
Comes off the cooldown. Luna can just toss this over the top if they choose to. Raven taking some damage, but Oasis finding a lot of their own. Raven able to find one before falling. Follow-up is perfect for Catface. Just good crossfire between Elaborate and Luna. Opposite sides, the back part of the site, leaving it down to Madison for a 1v3. Weapons being collected. First battle, a little bit messy. Madison's still alive. Problem is, you're running out of time, and you've got to start to move. Here's a little setup, and the first 2 shots are good. Luna was not peeking because they were throwing utility out. Now you've got the spike. You're trying to hit the sound cue, but Luna's right there for the right click to save things, and it's a thrifty for MEOW as we're staying tied at 7.
This is insane. You know what I want to see, Shift?
Hit me.
I want to see both these teams just sell their guns and everyone just buy carrots. Like, I need to see this happen. I need to see a full round. But this was kind of insane. A really good gamble play from MEOW here, and Lunafox with this 3K. Absolutely insane, by the way. Madison almost closing it out and clutching it out. It's just insane how many clutches we're able to see in this game so far. And it's only 7-7. It's only round 15. It's kind of wild, but now obviously the tables have turned. The guns are now in MEOW's hands. They have the weapons and the utility, but that's not going to stop Otters. They're trying to go towards that fast mid. They're going to bait that little trap play that they have by the Vice. It's not going to punish them hard because Elaborate actually gets to spam through that smoke.
Clean to start. 5v4 situation. There is still the Bulldog in play for Invert on this attack, but losing out on Avery is so punishing. So now you're in a position of trying to work your way back into this round through mid with no exterior control and no great initiation outside of what the duelists bring to the mix.
Yeah, but look, 2 players from Cafes have taken all of A. Then you also have Kestrel, who's taken all of Long B. They know that these players are in mid, and they're ready for a retake from both sides. They're able to crunch wherever. And that sound is actually going to be communicated by Lunafox, hearing all that A noise now. All these players, all 5 players from Catface are so ready for this retake because they know that they have all this space now around them.
30 seconds left.
I will say, though, in terms of giving yourself a chance, Sen Otters, I like the choice of moving in deeper towards Flowers and Secret. Of course, Catface will likely be aware of that. Aunt will be sent out and denied. Oasis, first contact could be critical. Misses the shot. Elaborate. It's a little bit too quick on the peak. That now triggers Otters to try to play on the backside of Secret. And Luna's held away from the rest of MEOW. This is taking time. You still have no idea where Madison is. And how about it? The crunch is perfect from Sen Otters, playing on both sides of the site. Blue Owl will drop. Just down to Luna. Not a lot of health. The turret honestly could clutch it up for them if he's not careful. And Luna, yeah, just getting charged at. May will find the connection. And what is that, Athena? 5 or 6 thrifties so far through 15.
I can't believe what's happening. This is insane. I'm so sorry, observers. Like, I would not be able to do your job because what is going on? This is kind of insane. The amount of multi-kills that are just happening within 2 seconds of a round is kind of wild. But we need to lock in here because Sen Otters, they have guns now. They've won off of that thrifty. And Cafes, even though they are on a thrifty, it doesn't mean that they're out. It doesn't count them out at all. So they're looking to do something towards this mid, a little bit of an aggressive play, trying to get some sort of peek, punishing that turret, getting that away, and it's going to be Sen Otters that are going to group, try to do something different. They're actually looking to retake mid here, which I think is a pretty good play, because they know that Catface likes to stack. Based on that couple thrifties that they've won so far, makes a lot of sense, and they're just going to creep up, get the pick onto Kestrel, punishing that Jet player. And they're still going to just slow it down. This is really nice discipline, not looking too hard for picks, just trying to hear if there's any information for them to group.
That feels like a fist meets keyboard right there moment from Kestrel. Like, all you're looking for is to peek through double doors for info while your team is getting aggressive through A main and someone hits a shot on you on like the smallest of pixel angles. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, hey guys, let me just... never mind.
Never mind.
They're mid.
Bang. Here we go. Nightfall out towards B. Some decent utility here for Catfish trying to play off of. The problem is you only have a little bit of an arsenal to fight back with. The Vice Wall about to expire. Blue Owl trying to take advantage of that, but shut down. And that will lead to a plant and likely the round. I say that with hesitation, though, because nothing feels unwinnable right now. Okay, now we feel like we're in cleaner territory. Raven, last one left, taken care of. Flawless round for Sen Otters up 2.
Feels like that's the cleanest round we've seen so far this whole game.
Very well made.
Where it hasn't been down to some sort of 2v2, 1v2, 1v3 clutch. It's been really nice, but I think this round really goes to show. I've talked a lot about discipline from Otters, and I think this was one of those rounds where it really played out. They weren't too aggressive. They weren't too antsy. They knew that even though Catface was on a thrifty, that it was still losable, and I like to see that from a team. But we're finally on a full gun round from both these teams. 3 ults on the side of MEOW. They have really good retake ults with that Nightfall, with the Steel Garden, and they're actually fighting towards the same main. Doesn't get the pick, but they know it's all 4 players here.
Flashed out, timing of the peak nearly perfect. Second opportunity comes up wide, and Burch is trying to take away the space. Finds one on the running back, and more echoing operator shots continue to miss. Kestrel in some trouble. Stuck over towards the dugout, but is able to dash and get away. That could be critical, especially with the Nightfall and a Steel Garden on the retake opportunity 3v4.
Slowly playing that post plant, not overextending because they know they have numbers and they know that Nightfall is coming in. It's only gonna, it's gonna scan 3 of these players actually. Yeah. They're gonna know that they're playing off site, but they know that Oasis is isolated.
Oh, no.
Gets the pick on Lunafox, and now these players have to retake shift.
That's so tough for Luna. You would love to have a second player swing with you, but you're just so far away if you're Elaborate and Kestrel. Spam works out, but time is becoming a bit of an issue. But Elaborate actually has an angle here to work with Kestrel. First shots are good. Just down to can you stop? But that's information that they're not sticking for the defuse here. So opportunity for Sen Otters to continue to use this turret, and that's exactly what they will do. Yeah, just maybe a little bit too much information given right there by Catface that they weren't sticking for the defuse. It gives Sen Otters just a small moment to breathe, and that extra little bit of confidence goes a long way as they win 3 in a row.
Yeah, and I think Oasis actually staying on site there is kind of a big thing. Getting that initial pick on Lunafox was exactly what she was supposed to do. Their job was to stay on site, delay for as long as possible, and getting that pick really enabled that. And I think that post plant was really nice to see. However, for me, from Catface, man, I'm looking for them to be able to actually anchor these sites, especially when they have 3 players fighting towards the mains. It feels like they give it up so easily. They fall back into some sort of weird retake, but their timings aren't there. And it's going to be another one of those rounds because Vadison using that lockdown to get that A site.
Yeah, and that's just another bit of pressure point here that will take these game changer sheriffs out of the site. And to your point, Catface, who have been great at trying to at least stop the scaling deeper on site with especially these thrifty rounds, now have to fight their way back into multiple layers on this retake. Well, trying to level the playing field with the Steel Garden, but most of Sen Otters, I believe, get away. So now you've got to go really quickly here if you're Catface. Kestrel going to be the vanguard, trying to find a way to be the tip of the spear. Avery just spamming things down. Oasis over the top of smoke. Can't see much. There's just a lot of utility, and it's just spray downs. It's just straight up spray downs. But Kestrel, Raven, how about that? They find 3 just running out of blades. Was Kestrel. An opportunity was there, but not quite able to connect, and the last couple of members has Sen Otters on 11.
May has been getting some insane frags through smokes and has been really good at getting those impact kills. And I think those 2 kills were so important because using that Astra Star on the spike to be able to delay for so long that they haven't even been able to tap it was so nice. And then those 2 kills, yeah, man, that was so nice. But again, Otters, so patient, so disciplined. They know that there's going to be some sort of crazy aggression, and they countered it by just playing back and playing together. But now another gun round, and Catface is actually opting to fight this A main again. They're very quickly going to learn that they're going towards B, though.
Yeah, Elaborate will be in some trouble here. Cosmic Divide kind of forcing the negotiation of do I want to keep my life and play through the Vice Wall, or do I want to value my life and get out of here? The answer will be, I'm out of here. Oasis trying to get forward. First blood good. Now Sen Otters just looking for the perfect conditions to get out this plant. Maybe behind this wall. Luna trying to find timing. Not going to work out. Raven in trouble. Double shots come through, and the cat is just so clean from Otters all of a sudden. Kestrel, Blue Owl, last ones left, and they may need to make the tough decision here with the economy just to back away and try to play for OT.
Yeah, Blue Owl was so far. There was no way they were going to be able to win that unless they really sped up. But this is starting to fall apart for Catface. They're struggling to anchor sites. They're struggling to even be able to make it numbers-wise back onto the site for a really good retake. And it feels like I'm saying that, but they've done a really good job only on their thrifty. So I'm kind of looking at them to play a little bit quicker, maybe. try to be a little bit more decisive with what they want to do, able to rotate quicker, because it feels like on their thrifties, they're so good at getting back onto site and bringing it down to a 2v2, but then on their gun rounds, just unable to anchor.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful point that I hope that everyone out there who's listening really tuned into that, because I think it tells the whole story of this half. You're absolutely right. Like, maybe, I don't want to say like it's stubbornness from Catface, but like we've got full weapons. The expectation is that you shouldn't have to full flood back in as a 5-man to just contest spikes. You should be able to out-trade, maybe push off that execute, but so far it really hasn't been that way. So it does kind of build this curiosity, and maybe some of that is the inspiration for Catface doing this again, where they're getting over to A lobby quickly, taking away that space early so they have a chance to gamble stack. The problem was in the last round when they did this, Otters were already pushing up B long. So now you're in this weird sticky spot, trying to push through. Counter flash is good for invert. Oasis right there with them, and that may be the map ending play right there.
Yeah, that fight was insane. And then you also have the really quick lurk from Battison already up in art behind these players. Blue Owl might be able to get 1 or 2 here, but the trade comes in from Oasis. The 3K Elaborate left alone in a 1v3, unable to do much. But as I say that, gets a pick onto Oasis, but Battison using the shorty to end the game. What a wild ride shift.
Unbelievable wild